Hello, everyone. Welcome back to The Lit Life. This is episode 3. And I really didn't feel like recording today. I've just been having an off day. I mean, not a lot of you know this, but I'm 6 months pregnant. So sometimes all these projects I'm taking on, they get really exhausting. And I just got back from a trip to Toronto. So I'm like double exhausted. Not jet lagged or anything, but when you're a pregnant person, like even the most mundane of activities just leave you like breathless and you feel like an asthmatic, and like I just feel like I'm like a hamster on a wheel right now. And sometimes, you try so hard to make something of yourself and you try really hard to get your work out there, but things just don't pan out. And I have this tendency to always focus on the negative rather than the positive. I mean, my book's been received extremely well. Like, my goal was to make a difference in the community and to make sure the message of the book is well received, which is that the cultural and community issues outlined in the book need to be corrected, right? So I sparked a conversation. That was my goal, and I achieved that. So I should be proud of that. But at the same time, I mean, I really had this vision of being repped by this mega big publishing house that would, do all the marketing for me, and I'd kind of just sit back and reap the awards of this book selling. But it looks like I'm going to have to do the grunt work for a little bit longer, well, as long as my body will allow, and until my baby gets here. But yeah, I shouldn't be complaining. I'm just one of those people that get down and out really fast. But yeah, like I said, I just got back from Toronto, and while I was there, I wasn't expecting to see so many apnea. I had no idea Brampton is like the Surrey of Ontario. There's, how I describe in the book, that there's like so many bobbe riding their bike down the street in Surrey. It's like double as many of those scenarios in Brampton. There's so many apnea there. But, and you know what? Like, honestly, they were a different kind of apnea. Like, this is going to sound really stereotypical, but, they looked the same as the people here, but they were like really, really mega whitewashed. Like, they were so advanced, and they were so welcoming. And I'm speaking about my my book launch that I did there. It's not book launch, sorry, my book signing. And everybody was like super supportive and interested, and like a few people came out who had been following me on social media, and they were so excited to get to like meet and chat about the book and everything. And it was like a really nice, warm welcome. And I'm not used to that doing events here in the Lower Mainland. Like, for some reason, like when you try to make eye contact with apnea here and try to like get them to talk to you about something, like usually that's how the signings go, right? So I'll be sitting there at the front of the store, and some people are familiar with the book, some people come out to get their book signed, some people come out just to talk, but the majority of it is me just greeting customers and letting them know what I'm all about and what the book's all about. And I'll tell you, apnea avoid eye contact like the plague. Holy smokes. I don't know what it is, but people just do not feel comfortable approaching me. And I smile. I try to seem approachable. I'll like, make small talk, and I'll be like, hey, have you heard of this book? And sometimes they won't even respond. Like, they'll just pick up their pace and like just like try to get the heck out of there as fast as possible, or they'll like try their best not to like even look in my direction. And I didn't see any of that in Toronto. Instead, like, people were approaching me. They were like giving me props, like, good job for putting yourself out there. And it makes a lot of sense why so many grassroots superstars come out of Toronto. Maybe the community is just different there. They're not trying to, cut one another down. They're trying to lift one another up because they see the big picture. They see that if one Indo-Canadian girl makes it, it paves the way for the rest of everyone else, right? So I really like that there. It was definitely something that I noticed, that only in Surrey do you have this kind of internal racism almost. You get apnea hating on apnea, and if you try to do something, people will kind of be like, oh, who does she think she is, or what are they trying to pull, right? But on the East Coast, it's not like that. Anything you try, they're like, more power to you, and they'll give you the platform you need to succeed. But yeah, I mean, it was a cool experience. I really enjoyed my time there. I went with my family, so we got to do some sightseeing. It was all in all, it was a good experience. I mean, yeah, you still got that racism and stereotypes and all that stuff because I interacted with some people like that as well. But I mean, that's going to be anywhere you go, right? That just comes with the territory of being an ethnic minority, unfortunately. But yeah, it's super multicultural place over there and really friendly place, like for the most part. But it was good. It was a good trip. But yeah, what I actually wanted to talk about kind of goes hand in hand with this is I noticed something. I noticed that for some reason, people of other ethnicities, usually majority members, right, they seem to have this concept that apna are just loaded without merit. Like we have copious amounts of, expendable cash that just kind of falls from the sky into our mega houses, right? I don't get that. Like we work just as hard as the next guy. It doesn't make any sense. Like that's an Indian's entire life is working and making businesses. Let me just backtrack here and tell you where I'm coming from. So pretty much when I started off this whole author book thing, I sought out a lot of guidance. One of the individuals I spoke to, she told me that I should really market the book towards Indo-Canadians specifically. And one of the reasons she said, aside from the obvious that it's an Indo-Canadian novel, is that because these are her words, not mine, you people have so much extra money to blow, and there's like so many of you guys here. There's like millions of you, and you all have this extra copious amounts of cash just floating around. I don't get that. I don't get that logic. So it got me thinking. I was like, you know what? That does seem like the case. Like for the most part, apna do seem like like they belong to like a wealthy, prestigious culture, right? So where does that come from? And you know where it comes from? It just comes from our atna. We live a different type of lifestyle, and mostly this pertains to our parents' generation, not so much of us, millennials. Well, I'm not even a millennial, but close enough. But like our parents' generation, think about it. What do they spend their money on? All the roti and dal is super affordable, right? They're not going out for like keg dinners on the regular. And do they really take vacations? No, for the most part, they just save up for that one big trip to India, and that's like their goal for the year, right? So it makes sense that they don't spend like money as if like on empty meaningless things. Like what does their wardrobe consist of? Suits that they get stitched for like $25, right? So all these things play a factor into your income and your expenses and whatnot. But I think it's really unfair that we get pegged as like these people who just have like money to blow and everything comes easy to us. Man, being an ethnic minority, it's not an asset. I mean, for some, even I get it like in the writing world, like if some authors I've interacted with will be like to me, oh man, the market's so hot for these types of books. Like what? A book written by a brown girl or a book about like brown people? What does that even mean? Like it's like they almost have this like chip on their shoulder that I, for some reason, have this edge because I'm speaking to and from an ethnic minority group. I don't think that's fair, man, because I'll tell you, it's double as hard to kind of prove who you are and prove yourself and the content of your book when it's about like an ethnic minority type of topic. It's not easy. You think, half the stuff I've done or I've accomplished is through my own efforts. Nothing fell into my lap or came easy. This book didn't just magically appear on the shelves of bookstores, right? That was all through persistence and like a lot of hard work. I mean, I don't get why they have this attitude like we're not deserving. But anyways, I mean, I tend to notice the negative more than the positive, like I said, and I get hypersensitive to this kind of stuff, so it sticks out to me, and then it bothers me until I rant about it. So thanks for bearing with me through that and listening to what I have to say. But yeah, I don't know why I'm continuing on with this, because I actually got some like really mean feedback, not on my own page, not on my own YouTube page, but on the podcast that I did with the Surrey experience guy. So a few of the comments were super mean, and I bet you they were from kids in Surrey, not anywhere else. Apparently I sound, what was the words he used? Stupid and immature, and they couldn't even believe I was the author of the book. But you know what? I let that stuff bother me for a few hours, and I was like, oh my gosh, these people are so mean. But at the end of the day, if you're not putting yourself out there and you don't have anything you're passionate about and you're not striving for something and you're not leaving yourself vulnerable, then you're not really truly chasing your dreams, right? And you're not going to get as much life fulfillment as somebody who is leaving themselves vulnerable. And there's a potential for getting those hateful comments, and I'm sure there's a whole lot coming my way, a whole lot more coming my way, but it's all good. I can take it. I mean, you got to grow a thick skin to that kind of stuff. But yeah, please do leave me your feedback, the good, the bad, the ugly. I want to hear it, and I'd love to hear other stuff you want to hear my opinion on, and if you don't want to hear it, that's cool too. But thanks for sticking by me. That's all I wanted to say this time around. Hopefully next week I have some better news for you guys regarding the growth of the book. I mean, you know what? I keep downplaying it. It is doing great, and I need to stop feeling like I need to do more. I feel like I'm like this ticking time bomb, since I am expecting and I'm due in like 2 months, and I feel like I have to cram as much as I possibly can before my baby comes. But I'm just going to keep on keeping on. And oh, right. I came up with that thing last week that I wanted to share what goals I had and what I hope you guys will get out of your week. So this time around, I think I'm gonna try to just have a more positive outlook. I think that's a good goal for me to set for myself this week. And for you guys, I hope you guys did write down 3 things that you guys wanted to achieve in the next little bit here, and I hope you've set into play. I mean, it's one thing to set goals, but it's a whole nother ballgame to actually do what you need to do to make those goals a reality. So I hope you're on the path to that. But my suggestion for this week is to try something you've never tried before. So for me, I actually have this big event coming up on Monday. I'm kind of nervous for it, naturally so. There's going to be like 100 people there. It's at Kwantlen Polytechnic University in Surrey from 11:30 to 12:30. I'm going to be reading an entire chapter from Chasing Kismet, and I've been practicing, and I get caught up on my own words, and my husband's like, how can you know how to write the content but you can't speak it? It's difficult, okay? That part of my brain is a different part of my brain, and the part of my brain that allows me to pronounce the big words, it's not doing so well right now. I'll just blame it on baby brain. But anyways, that's all I got for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and take care. See you next time.